Well, it's the age-old problem. One moment your child's a happy-go-lucky kid, the next they're a troubled teenager. Now, whether they're hanging out with the wrong crowd or suffering from rampant hormones, it's a seriously stressful period for everyone involved.
Now, with minds of their own and the struggle for control, it's a fine line between an adolescent taking over the reins of their own life and parents letting go. So how do you help them find a balance within limits that will stick? Parenting expert and mum of four, Sally-Anne McCormack, joins us now from Melbourne with just a few suggestions. Sally-Anne, good morning to you. Do we need to relate to a teen differently than we would, say, a younger child?
Absolutely. We need to change our parenting style. They've got older and we need to get old. We need to change our style. So things like making sure that we have good communication with them, and also keeping things at least 85% of the time in a positive or at least neutral tone. I think we'd have a tendency to tell them to, stop doing what they're doing. Have you done your homework? And we need to change that.
OK, let's talk about peer pressure because it becomes a real issue around that age, doesn't it? They're the most important people in your children's life.
Yeah, but keep in mind, parents are actually influential at that time as well. So what we need to do is to make sure that we keep our lines of communication open and probably find some common ground too. So make sure that they know that we aren't perfect and we weren't perfect either. We can share details if we want, but certainly the issues, we've faced them before too, and open that up to them and let them realise that they're not alone.
I have a 16-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter. I already know the answer to this question. Do you handle teenage boys differently to the girls?
Well, in some ways you do, in some ways you don't. I think that they face some of the same issues, although the boys tend to grunt more when you ask them questions, I think. But they have the same sorts of issues. If you notice, one of the things for us parents to do is if we notice any sudden changes in behaviour, or if they're partaking in risky behaviours, then we need to do something. Something else is going on.
Sally-Anne, you say to keep the lines of communication open, but what if they just don't want to talk to you?
Well, I think try and find some time in a non-threatening way, like asking them to come and sit down with you for whatever reason. They're not going to want to do that, or even not to have coffee, some of them. But if you can go and kick a footy outside or take them to a sports game or something like that, we can spend time with them in a non-threatening way. Be supportive at all times and keep the lines of communication open.
All right, there's an age there's a time when they start finding out a lot about themselves. How can we help by keeping their self-esteem high? It's important.
Oh, absolutely. We keep their self-esteem high by catching them while they're good, is what I tell my clients. Find moments where they're doing something right and point it out to them. Because we spend so much time saying, you didn't do this, you should have done that. We need to actually build up their self-esteem by catching them when they're good. Positively reinforce their behaviour, and remember that discipline, the word discipline, does not mean punishment, it means teaching. So we have to teach them and be positive in any way that we can.
All right, some great advice, Sally-Anne. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
It's all ahead of me. Teenage years.
Just, you can ask me any questions you like and I'll text you the answers. That's how we roll in our house.
Still to come.